Let's kick off. It is 7:02, and why don't we just start, Joe, at the end of the table. We'll just say our name to do a roll call.
Joe Helly, present.
Excellent.
Richard Keys, present.
Gene Case, present.
Erica Jacobson, present.
Frank Visconti, present.
Vanessa Rossi, present. All right. So, we have 6 people here, so we have quorum. So we are good to start the meeting. It is 7:03 on January 7th, 2025. First order of business is to review and approve meeting minutes from the 10th and October 1st. Both of those are attached here. But we have, both of them were fairly concise.
Move to approve the minutes of Tuesday, 10 September 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. And so,
See, this was,
the
What was
October
this?
10th is a joint meeting,
yeah,
and that was one that was to go over the, discussion on whether or not we want to continue pursuing an alternative assessment for Triton. And the vote here was, the motion was made by Alicia, seconded by Bill, that the town of Newbury recommends to the DCC discontinuing the exercise or pursuit of the alternative assessment formula at this time. And that was unanimous among those who were here, which was 3 members of the select board and 4 members of the finance committee.
so whose minutes are these, ours or theirs?
They are both.
Oh, okay.
They're
So,
both.
right. So we have to, all right, so I was here.
You're here.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, approved. Excellent. Alrighty, and public comment. To receive oral communications from members of the public. Members of the public may address the Finance Committee for up to 3 minutes. The Finance Committee will not engage in discussion on topics raised during public comment, but may choose to add the topic to a future agenda. This agenda segment will be limited to 15 minutes. Bill, as the member of the public here, would you have anything you would like us to comment on?
Actually, yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
At the annual town meeting, we were given permission to serve up to the general court about the capital planning bylaw. And since that's been turned back to us, it says it's okay. And since we're setting the agenda for next week's select board meeting, I was hoping that maybe we could have a couple of names by next week to make an appointment.
Okay.
From this committee?
From this committee, yes. We do
Yes.
have that legal ruling is that we can now,
Okay.
the select board may appoint 2 members, up to 2 members of the finance committee to sit on the capital planning committee. And that is not in violation though, by getting that law passed from town meeting and then going to the state, we are now no longer in violation of being on multiple boards. And so it was a long-standing practice that we had members that were on both because it made sense.
Yeah.
So,
Was this co-joined with the discussion about not having people who, what was the other stipulation? You can't receive a stipend.
yeah, you couldn't be an employee.
You couldn't be a,
Right.
Did that all go hand in hand, or was this just
I don't
strictly on
think it's
multiple boards?
This
It
one was
separate? Okay.
absolutely separate.
It's a
It was
separate
just,
one.
it was
Strictly
specifically
for multiple
for,
boards.
it was strictly for finance committee
Oh,
and
that's specific.
that specific,
Uh,
that is
CPC and
specific,
finance. Okay.
CPC and finance,
Gotcha.
that 2 members of you can be on finance committee and be appointed by the select board to be on capital planning.
Okay,
So,
yes,
so that brought us in line with that.
okay.
So, that's it.
Okay.
Do we have individuals who are interested in
What
serving
is the
on?
commitment?
It's typically monthly meetings. Marshall Jesperson is the chair.
Oh, if
currently,
it's
I
Marshall,
believe.
I'm out.
You're on tape.
Sorry, Marshall.
And it's usually, he runs a very structured,
Yeah.
they have
He does.
a good process. And I believe they usually do their I'm not sure what their schedule is anymore.
It's probably not as frequent. In the beginning,
Yeah.
it was really, it was in-depth because we didn't have anything resembling like a rotation.
Right.
That was put in place during those early years in terms of, all right, well, we cycle out a police car every X number of years, whatever. We didn't have any of that. And I think it was a little more involved at that time. Now I think it runs a lot more smoothly. And really the only thing that comes up that isn't scheduled or quite regular is if somebody says, well, do we really need $107,000 10-wheeler? And then they have, somebody from DPW come in and tell you why you need $107,000 10-wheeler.
There's
That's really ecstatic.
There's still that plan that they're working on.
Yeah,
There's
it's still,
a-
the plan is.
5-year, 10-year plan.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's really more about having a change, in the event something comes up, or change of price, or
Right,
whatever
yeah.
else, or the roof at NES is worse than we thought it was, so it's not just fixing the flashing this year, we gotta add whatever else.
Mhm.
But at least there is structure, there's infrastructure in place, and everything's kind of on schedule.
And there is also part of that is that there's usually a set time of, all of the requests have to be in usually by November 1, they get reviewed, and then as we get closer to the setting of the, budget priorities and everything else, there's a scoring mechanism that brings through to evaluate each of the different priorities in terms of immediacy, cost, lifespan, and so there's a every project gets scored so that it can be appropriately placed into prioritization.
They meet sometimes in the morning too,
Yeah,
don't they?
I think
Right,
so.
When we did it, it was not in the morning.
It wasn't, oh,
No, it
okay.
was when Bob got this thing up and running, it was in the evening.
It was in the evening. okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, okay.
Connor,
But that might be the case now.
Connors was,
He
Bob
was.
Connors was, he's
Bob
no
was.
longer on that.
He's not anymore.
Bob was really instrumental in
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
He pulled that whole
something
plan.
resembling a plan
Yeah.
Yes.
together.
And when when that law came into, when we were made aware of where we were in violation, that was one of the reasons that Marshall stepped off of this committee,
Yeah.
was because of the long tenure he
With Tom
had.
also?
Yeah, Tom was a different, so
Okay.
Tom was different because he was also constable, but Marshall specifically knew that this board we could replace, and he could allow some continuity on that board, because he had been one of the finance committee reps to the capital planning for a number of years, so he had the experience to be able to lead that, because otherwise it wouldn't have been, because the members of that committee were 2 finance committee members, I think a select board member, and it was a way to kind of keep the continuity, the history, and all of the hard work that had been done by Frank, Bob, and other members of that committee over the years to establish a good pattern and get us on the right financial path.
So they meet evenings, yeah.
Yeah. I believe
think
now,
so.
they did that, I think
Yeah.
they do
I was
now.
I think they might
Marshall
do,
probably.
they might do some remotes as well.
Yeah.
They can
It
still
might be
do
different
that.
now, truly, I
Yeah.
don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's really, there wasn't a lot that required.
I'm more than happy to help if it's an
You would like a
evening-
job,
I think
It's an
it-
evening
yeah.
commitment?
Yeah.
you would like it,
Yeah.
it gets into the nitty gritty of where the dollars are
Oh,
spent
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
capital equipment, and, well, we need trash cans down, Plum Island,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evenings
it's
would be
good.
fine for me, I can't
Yeah.
have the mornings.
Right.
yeah,
So Marshall,
yeah.
do we need to vote or just He's volunteered.
No, but Bill just asked, I think, we'll come up
Yeah.
with names.
Two names, okay.
Well, you know, if
Yeah.
someone's interested, they should send an email to the select board.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, you guys
Okay.
did it, okay.
Okay,
Do I have to send an email to who?
Joe, send an email to
Who's chair? You
Alicia,
chair?
or you chair? Alicia,
Vice
Alicia?
chair, vice chair. Do it to, the assistant town administrator. And she'll put it into the agenda package.
Whoever she is,
Okay.
It's in the, as assistant.
or he or
If
she,
you're using the town email system, just type in A and it'll come right up.
okay.
Joe, we'll send you an email with the,
I think I can figure it out.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
excellent.
Besides Marshall, who else is on that?
Nick
Oh, yeah, Nick,
and Tracy is ex officio.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
right, that's been
all.
one of the
Those
problems.
are the only
is-
names listed on the town
Nick is
website.
still on it, really?
Yeah, that's one of the problems right now, is that there
Nick,
was,
He lives over on Green Street.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Omen.
Oh, yeah, I know who he
Yeah.
is. I interviewed him for.
Good guy.
yeah,
Is this, I don't know if you guys, is this once a month, every month, starting?
I don't,
No.
no,
Same as this?
same as this, it's,
Yeah.
it's as the needs are,
Yeah.
because, yeah, there's usually a good, lull after town meeting as things
I
are,
can tell you the last agenda on the webpage, on the website is April
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
There
It
you
looks
go.
like they had meetings right before year end 2023.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had 3 consecutive meetings.
Yeah.
yeah,
The only time there's ever really any real activity is when everybody has to get their requests in before April, if I remember correctly, and then there's just a sit down where you prioritize operating under the assumption that, well, maybe there isn't enough money for all of these requests, so what, you do a little point system 1 through 5 and what's most important, and those are the things get prioritized.
Bill, I'm in,
And
I'm
not to discourage you, but it does say they were at 7 AM.
Well,
Oh,
those
really?
were back then.
Those
Oh,
were.
those
back
were,
there.
but that was a couple of years ago, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I think it's pretty fluid, so.
I'm more than happy to help.
Good,
Thank you.
all right, very good.
Terrific. So, I also will let you know that I received one piece of email communications a while back from David Powell, but his questions were regarding the select board's agendas, so it really wasn't a FinCom, so I didn't bother CCing everybody on anything. He had a question about who set the agenda, and so I answered some questions, just that, it's not, really not the purview of this board to comment on the select board's agendas or how they are set or when they're posted or anything like that. That just isn't on our radar, but other than that, there have been no written or email communications.
Does David serve on any committees at the moment?
I don't think so, I don't think he's
He
on.
did
any-
a lot
He
of
did a
them.
lot, but I don't think he's on
Very
any
active.
right now.
He-
Yeah.
Planning board for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think he's active on any of the others. In terms of old business, want to know if there's anything from DCC meetings, any recaps there?
Sure. We'll go over that.
Sure.
So since I actually reported last time was, so there's been meeting 19 September, 24 October, and 14 November. The next meeting is the 23rd of this month in Rowley at 6:30. So just some general topics. So Brian said the year's off to a great start, feels normal again at the high school. They're working on a portrait of a Triton graduate. He uploaded the district strategy, it's on the website. They also put in school improvement plans are posted. He talked, in the meeting in October, he talked about the MCAS that came up, whether he was for or against it. And then the 14th November, it was after the election, and so he basically said that any of the seniors from 2025, if they pass the MCAS, then they've met the district's requirements. And they're gonna leave it up to the districts to decide what the requirements are. They haven't heard anything from the state, so I think that's the big thing there. They did do some repairs. They reported on that they had a failing science lab tight tank that had to be repaired, mold remediation, and roof issues. So they got those
Yeah.
addressed, because they got some some money that came in unexpectedly, and they transferred some money internally on there, so. Fiscal year '26, the budget discussions are gonna go back to the normal process. Reported on that. And over these few meetings, they talked about future contracts. The bus contract was gonna be up at the end of the year. Newburyport just switched from Salter to Coach.
Right.
A manager from Salter went to work for C&J, and so they got the contract. So they're hoping that they'll have some competition this time. So that's why you see Coach buses going along.
Yeah.
So they're doing,
It's NRI right now, right?
yes, so. The custodial units contract negotiations are ongoing, so I don't know if anything's come in. And healthcare negotiations are ongoing. And then I think what everybody's interested in, facilities subcommittee's been meeting. So basically, that's, it consists of both school committee members and representatives from each town. Was formed to develop a strategic plan for repairs to the middle school, high school, in the event Triton was not chosen. But we know that they have been chosen, so, and they were basically tasked to determine a cost-effective Plan B was the main goal of the subcommittee. Alternative may be cost-effective enough that they become Plan A. So that's what they were looking at. And they've been working with Habib and Associates. They've
Okay.
had several meetings to look at different things they could do with Triton, and then also focus on security into the building, rearrange some few things that are at the high school and middle school, so. And then the big news, it's on your agenda, so.
Has that been voted into the eligibility
Yeah.
period?
Yes.
Sorry, one question before we go on to that. We, I think yesterday got, there's an email about a district-wide, survey, for just like Triton, how's Triton doing? It sounds like maybe it's related to this portrait of a Triton graduate, because it's asking, but it's across all schools, elementary and middle and high school. I didn't know if that was discussed at all.
So they discussed that they were trying to get input just
Yeah.
to see where they can improve things.
Yeah.
They want to get the feedback from
Yeah.
the,
So it's a district-wide survey.
yes.
And it seems very open-ended. I mean, there's a form obviously, but it's like very like open-ended information gathering.
This was just for parents with current students
Well,
in the Triton district?
yes, but it's actually going to be for parents, alumni, and students.
Okay.
No, interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't know if that was, there's clearly like a discovery period, that I assume is,
Could you forward it to me?
sure.
I'm just curious, I'm always
Yeah.
curious about what the surveys
Yeah.
look like.
Yeah, they mentioned it
Research.
during one of the meetings, but I
Okay.
didn't write it down, there were so many.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the highlights there.
Yeah.
That are getting here, so. Yes.
So, and I'm guessing on the 23rd, that there'll be an in-depth discussion about the eligibility
Yes.
period, what's gonna get covered, and
Right.
those points. So that's a good one for people to attend. I will not be there. I will be in Las Vegas. But I think that's gonna be the biggest thing, kind of, that will help give us some structure around what the plan is, because I know for a long time that's been a big kind of unknown. It's still unknown, but it's at least better.
Right,
It's a step forward into rather than waiting, so.
right. Because they're also looking at, well, if we get the money from the state, then we're required to do certain things. So some of the, like the science labs need to be, you have to have so many square feet for a student. They don't meet that, so they would have to expand. So those are the things that they were looking at. Might cost us more to take the money. So there's certain contractors you'd have to use, things like that, so.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
Gene's
It's
having
gonna be,
flashbacks.
yeah, it's all gonna be. And then, as I said, there's no town administrator's report because Tracy was unexpectedly ill and unable to attend tonight and was not able to provide a debrief ahead of that. So, other than that, the only other thing I had was the discussion of the H 7242, which was the impact of the finance committee, which we discussed under Bill's request. So that is all set. We don't have any new business at this point in time. Right now, our next meetings are set to be on the 4th of February at 7 PM and the 4th of March at 7 PM. I expect by the 4th of February, we will have, before the February 4th meeting, we should have the state numbers for our district enrollment, which then will tell us our enrollment, our minimum local contribution, and the enrollment will then tell us what's our above minimum percentage. So that's always a fun piece of information to get, because until then, we can't really tell exactly how much our contribution, or we'll know that the budget's going up. I'm guessing the budget, I just kind of have in my head that we should anticipate a 10% increase in the overall budget, and then how it gets divvied up is gonna be, how it impacts Newbury, Rowley, and Salisbury.
You're talking about
Very-
Triton.
About Triton, yeah, that budget.
Have they developed a budget schedule for us yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet. I actually ran into Narissa at the orthodontist this morning, and so we are remembering that we believe it's the third week in January that we typically get the enrollment numbers from. So at that point, they might have it ahead of the 23rd meeting.
I meant the town budget.
Town budget?
Yeah.
Because that's also gonna come off the school budget.
Department heads have already submitted all their requests, I would assume.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Usually we get a sneak preview of
Yeah, I think,
what might be the highlight
yeah, I think.
issues, if you will.
I feel like the ones that Tracy had mentioned earlier in the, like just early in the process, is that healthcare, the health insurance premiums are looking high. Brian had mentioned that at a
Yeah.
very, very early budget meeting as well. So those are some of those that's kind of like stuck. I don't know if we'll see any sort of major changes in our payroll or adding of any roles across any of our departments, whether it be public safety or municipal services.
I think it was last January when we sat here, I said to Tracy, look at all the money we're gonna save because of the salt. Right?
That's why
That's why you can-
It's the only budget that you can
So we
overspend.
can overspend, exactly.
You know,
Make
the
it
other
up
thing
at the
too
end.
is, we've thrown some money into it every year. What am I thinking of? To cover our liability. which is
Oh,
over-
OPEB.
Yeah, OPEB.
OPEB, yeah.
Because that's gonna grow faster than we're putting in, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, we're like 6% or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I mean,
Well, it's what, you
it
can't,
can grow like a beanstalk, but it's like, we're woefully underfunded. No
well,
question.
everybody is.
Yeah.
That's
I know,
fortunately,
it's-
the
it's
entire
a-
state is like, some states aren't even at 1 or 2%. Some
There are
towns
100
Yeah.
ticking time bombs laying around
Oh,
out
yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and that's one. You know.
And it's an unfunded liability.
Mm.
And problem is it sneaks up on you because you don't realize it. As you get retirements, and they're coming,
Well,
and as you get like police chiefs retiring every so often, or you get whoever, that builds that balloon, you know, and someday it's gonna go,
the law of
or
unemployment.
not, or they just let it sit out there, you know, which I would advocate that's what you do, because we're pay as we go. You know, that's really what it is. but it's a lot of money out there.
If they would bring back smoking advertising. You get the volunteers come back in line. Social Security starts to work again.
That's probably it.
Alrighty. Seeing no other business before the committee, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Alright, all those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Excellent, adjourned at 7:27.